Matt Bernier for RacingPicks.com, taking a look at two more races for Saturday, June the 13th. These races coming from Churchill Downs. If you're curious about the two races I chose from Belmont, take a look at the other video that is available on RacingPicks.com. This video will talk about the late double at Churchill, beneath the Twin Spires, races 10 and 11. Let's start with race 10, 6.5 furlongs on the main track. These are 3-year-olds. They're fillies. There are really promising prospects in this race. Horses who have hinted or shown the potential that down the road they could end up being perhaps graded stakes types. I like a horse at a big price in here, and I can understand, you look at some of the numbers, she's not as fast as some of the other girls in this spot, but the number 9 Remanded, she did something, or she showed a trait that I think is very critical to have in high quality dirt runners, and that's called turn time. Everyone has a turn time, but how fast is your turn time? And Remanded in her career debut, she was a little bit slow into stride, not out of the, not atypical for first-time starters. She finally found her stride, and rounding the far turn, she just cruised around the entire field, about 3 or 4 paths wide. The turn time, the turn move was so visually spectacular that maybe the final margin of victory in the way that she finished down the lane left a little bit to be desired, a little bit late with the lead change, only won by a length and a half. For her to make up the ground that she did, and the way that she did it at Gulfstream Park, makes me think that there's real ability here. She's trained by Cherie DeVoe. The DeVoe barn continues to fire along at a pretty good clip down at Churchill. Bejarano takes the mount. The runner-up, Royal Megan, in that career debut, she came back and graduated in her next start with a 72 buyer. I think there's a lot to like about the 9 Remanded. So much so that I'm going to make her my play of the day for Saturday. She's 15-1 on the morning line. Yes, there are other very talented fillies and very promising prospects in this race. But race number 10 at Churchill on Saturday, the 9 Remanded, she'll be my play of the day at odds of 15-1. Now, hopefully we can connect with her and be alive into the finale, the graded stakes race. It's the Grade 3 Louisville going 1.5 miles on turf, because I like a 20-1 shot in here. That's the number 11, Rise the Guy. Now you gotta get a little creative here with Rise the Guy. That most recent run down at Gulfstream, I thought he was finding his stride. Granted, he was pushed along by Chris Landeros rounding the far turn, but I thought he was really starting to pick his feet up, and unfortunately, he was stacked up behind a wall of horses. Eventually, he tipped out to the clear, and he finished with some interest. I think if he's able to find clear running earlier, he ends up threatening to win that race. And I know the race hasn't come back spectacular, but point being, I thought he ran better than maybe the paper would suggest. Two other pieces for me with Rise the Guy in this race. The Louisville is at 1.5 miles. 12 furlongs. Speed is an asset, whether it's turf or dirt. Obviously, we're running on turf. Scheduled to anyway. And again, I need to preface, if the race comes off grass, no play. But so long as it stays on grass, Rise the Guy has some early foot. He can be forwardly placed, and I prefer to have forwardly placed runners in marathon-type races like this one. And also, the other piece for me is he's only run at Churchill Downs one time, but I can make the argument that it was the best race he's ever run, not just from a number standpoint, but visually. He glided over the Churchill Downs turf course, and point blank, some horses travel better at certain tracks than others do, and I wonder if Rise the Guy, maybe he's just kind of a horse for course and loves the turf down in Louisville. For whatever reason, I think Rise the Guy is very interesting at this price. 20-1, even if he comes down from there, I would certainly consider playing him at 10-1 or greater. I think between the tactical ability that he has, his success at Churchill Downs, and a little bit of a trip in that most recent run, we'll find out. Maybe the distance will be too much for him, but at 20-1, I want to find out with the 11 Rise the Guy. That is in the 11th race at Churchill on Saturday. So to recap, if you're looking for the Belmont races, they're in the other video on RacingPicks.com. At Churchill Downs, race number 10, my play of the day, I like the number 9, Remanded, at 15-1 on the morning line. And the nightcap, the Grade 3 Louisville, I like the 11, Rise the Guy, at 20-1 on the morning line. Good luck if you choose to play this weekend.